top legislator, this would be the legislation I'd want to introduce to discussion. And it would be a debit card system. I don't want to show my number. To offset all the property, the town, county, state, and federal government property taxes and labor taxes and all taxes into a sales tax on a tier system that takes care of the town, county, state, and federal government taxation. As you spend your money on your debit card, no matter where you are located in the world, it feeds those entities. And those entities are responsible for execution of due process and basic security and infrastructure maintenance. Not development, but maintenance. In defense. And defense. Alright. What I'm saying is, when you spend on your debit card, you pay for your local infrastructure wherever you're making that purchase. As a penny goes to that gas station you just made a purchase at, it stays in that zip code. All the way down to the zip code. Stays in that zip code where that penny was transacted. That will incentivize people to have commercial industries in their zip code. Whether it be a gas station, a tourist stop, a restaurant, anything, a little factory, something to help provide for your infrastructure. Slip parking down by the river so you can pay for some security. That's fine. That's local, I'm thinking. But anyhow, on this debit card, as you're traveling abroad, around the world, spending your money that you earned here, you're contributing to our local infrastructure and our investment retirement program, because we're going to be investing in retirement. And the more you spend, yes, the more you will occur as far as a preference to I guess, renowned resorts and events or whatever. You know, you get a little preference if you figured out how to generate more of an economy with your spending. More stuff you buy, it's more economy, right? Well, anyhow, there'd have to be some kind of incentive system. And I want to see a progressive liberty system that would go with this debit card system that, like, instead of voting when you're 18, bring that down to when you're 15. So your parents can walk you through the process while they have a little bit of influence left at the same time, while the establishment instructs you in the due processes and all that of the judicial and representative system or legislative system. Because each individual needs to know legislative system now, because we can all attend the events. Because we can all focus. We don't have to have a representative tote our word to Washington to represent us. We can see the line item on social media platforms, which we need to bolster and make an official one that can't be censored. Now, everything can be posted. It's up to the viewer to censor what they see. That means as a parent, you'll be censoring your child on up to about 15. And then recreational activities such as the alcohol and stuff. Well, if you're going to college and you're drinking every night, and drinking leads to, why not, let's try other stuff. You don't need full recreational liberties. You don't need to be able to drink and have Fridays off just so you can be worth a hoot because you partied Thursday. I don't remember how that happened, how they wound up with Fridays off. But anyhow, I remember watching that. It was funny. We just need to adjust stuff like able to vote. I think they need to be able to cohabitate at 17 with a significant other. And then license is good. Drinking needs to be moved up. I know this is unpopular. It's hard for me to say, you can tell, right? Drinking has to be moved up a little bit just to make way for other stuff. To put other stuff in perspective. You don't need to learn to drink when you're 21. If you're going to stay in college on grants and all that stuff, it needs to be moved up to at least 23. And by the time you're 25, I say, by the time you're 26, you're fully developed. So by the time you're 28, you're about beat down because you thought you'd fully developed. And you're pretty well in your pace. I don't know, man. I want to say that you shouldn't be able to purchase a weapon until you're 25 years old. As an individual, you shouldn't be able to purchase a handgun, assault rifle, or any of that stuff until you're 25 years old and it be registered in your name as a lawful owner. That would make sense, because then on all the campuses you'd have your metal detectors, whatever. Anyhow, on that debit card system, replacing all the property taxes so we don't have to go out here and run fossil fuel vehicles up and down the road all day and then have to come up with money to pay them to pay property taxes. It's a never-ending cycle of insurance companies, property taxes, enforced compulsory attendance laws that has destroyed the ability of the sustainability. That's the fact. And we can redo this stuff if we can get rid of them property taxes, get rid of eminent domain. We got to get rid of eminent domain. I mean, there's no reason to mow over perfectly good heritage food sources to build highways and pipelines that are obsolete technology. If we can make if I can spin this chair around one time, I can get electrical spark to keep a disc spinning at high RPM to generate more power, which would spin more chairs. It's not that hard. I did put something in it. It's not perpetual energy, but none of that. I don't even see a sucky one. I don't even see one that has to have a turn every 3 hours. We don't do anything, so we have to use this debit card system to invest as a whole to buy intellectual technology and copyright and all that stuff. We can work on this stuff and we can get this stuff to where as a whole we invest in it and we purchase it back into the public domain, so innovators of younger generations don't have to get doctorates to access the stuff and can actually do what they're supposed to do when they're 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Everything. You can see things pretty decent. Anyhow. Yep, debit card system. I didn't know the answer. I didn't jump up and down saying, I know it. Because it wasn't my job. I waited till I was 35 because you forced me to before I opened my mouth. And now I got political views and I see your defaults. I see where the town, the county, and the state and the federal government offer vital security roles, but are not offering a necessity to sustainability. We have to ensure due process and prosecution for violent offenders. We do not have to enforce probation and salaries and should be an honor to be a civil defender. Okay? It shouldn't be a career. You know, it should be a part of the progressive liberty system where it's a role we have to play, not a career. But this going out here and every confrontation, guaranteed somebody's going to get shot just because there's a visible weapon. Where is the right to bear arms? I'd rather conceal my weapon than be forced to bear it out where it can be implied I was garnishing it like a retard. Because that gentleman that got shot at that gas station the other day did not garnish the weapon. I guess he did. He might have prior. I don't know. But in the video, he didn't garnish his weapon until the officer was frisking him and seen it. And then they started trying to grab it. And that is contrary to a possession one. I mean, you just don't go grabbing it. You know. I don't know. I mean, that was crazy. Anyhow, I've seen a lot of it. It keeps happening. It keeps happening. It keeps happening. So there's one element of something that is redundant. What keeps happening? Okay, people get killed. People get killed. People get killed. Redundantly here. I know there's a lot of people in the world. But that kid on the campus with the knife and the guy in front of the gas station, whether they had weapons, okay, yes, they had weapons. Don't fuck with them. Don't touch them. Don't snatch at them. They're probably fucking paranoid. And that's fine. Don't just assume because you're an officer you have the right to go grab it. Just run up and grab it on people. They're going to have a take flight of fucking reflex. That's how you survive. Because when there's not an officer there, somebody tries to grab you, you go, whoa, oh shit, get away from me. You know? You flip out. Got it? Nah, suicidal shit and long dramatic stuff, but that hippie dude or whatever he was, suicide by cop is not justification. I mean, you got a knife this long, you should not pull out your gun and shoot the person. I mean, if you're a security guard, if that's your only damn defense, you ain't got a tape, you ain't got nothing else but a damn death sentence for any kind of fucking person tripping. He's out of his mind. I think I see something under his shirt. Pow! Yeah. I don't know, man. Damn. I don't think they're even got the right vetting for that kind of stuff. But anyhow, we got people going in the military and they're out here getting themselves killed when we're perfectly capable of handling about any incidents with alternative intervention. We've had drones, you quote them, they're called robots, RC controlled, anything for years and years and years and years. And they don't deploy any kind of knockout gas in sectors. I mean, how hard would it be to have a little poof? Oh shit, now look what you did, man. You got us knocked out. That would be way better than going into domestic disputes and stuff. I don't know, man. Some of this stuff's crazy. But I think I could probably deploy it. I don't know. It's bad at roll because, I mean, they are called out to bad things. But I don't know, somebody outrun you, that ain't no reason to shoot them, I don't think. I mean, the technology and stuff, you get them on camera, eventually you get them. Eventually. There ain't no sense in running from law. Why is there any sense in chasing? Why would somebody get killed in a high-speed pursuit when... Nasty. Nasty shit. We don't need self-driving cars. What we need is dead zones. Oh shit. This is the dead zone.